Heal! My friends, you are experiencing the healing power of whining. Whine! And now, Perry Logan, the Whining Liberal. The Whining Liberal. Oh my God, Perry Logan, the Whining Liberal is once again turning into the portrait of Dorian Gray. Apparently, if you whine too much, your face just gets totally messed up. Hi, it's June 23rd, 2011, and you're watching The Whining Liberal. Sorry. Sometimes when I whine too much, my face melts. You know what I mean? This is the first lesson of this show. Sometimes when you whine, your face melts. Lesson 1 of the show. Sometimes when you whine, your face melts. I cite the right wing as proof. Hey, in case you hadn't noticed, the right wing... In case you hadn't noticed, the faces of the right-wingers are all melting. The faces of right-wingers are all melting because the right wing whines so much. Let me hear you say, the right wing whines too much. Whinier. No. You gotta say it really whiny. The right wing whines too much. Now you got it. Yeah, sometimes you have to turn off the radio, turn off the TV, and just kind of to get away from that right-wing whining, right? I just wanted to clarify for you that one of the things that makes the right wing in America so bloody irritating is their tendency to whine all the time. But by the same token, it's kind of gotten them where they are today. Yeah. They are where they are today because of their great whining abilities. And I, Perry Logan, propose that we start whining at the right. That's why this show is called The Whining Liberal, you see. We're going to start whining at them. Come with me. I hope you enjoyed that. Listen. Here's an example of whinery, of a right-wing whinery, okay? when Obama got elected, when Obama got elected, the gun guys started saying, he's gonna take our guns! He's gonna take our guns! I think he's a foreigner! He's gonna take our guns! And they went down into their basements, they hoarded their guns, and they started to whine. They started to whine, don't you see? Yeah. Because that's what gun guys do. And of course, Obama himself, kind of a whiny right-winger. Obama, a whiny right-winger, kind of. Obama sort of has done nothing for gun control. Obama has been like negatory on gun control, negatory on the environment, negatory on everything. I don't want to get into it, okay? But the gun guys, who, for all I know, even after Obama has gotten an F from the Grady campaign, where are you going? He got an F from the Grady campaign, okay? For his work on gun control. There's nothing else on gun control. Obama has done nothing on gun control, you say. And it just shows you what dipsticks gun guys are. See? The gun guys, some of them are probably still in their damn basements, hoarding their guns, polishing their guns, and whining. Get down. Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, the problem is liberals don't much whine. Excuse me, I'm on the phone. Do you mind? Hey, we're going to talk about whining later. Whine amongst yourselves, okay? Please whine amongst yourselves. I'm sorry. It was my bloody audience. It was a bloody goddamn audience of mine. Pulling your leg. Yeah, well, the thing is, I think what Perry was thinking, and we did try to talk him out of it. We tried to talk Perry out of doing a show called The Whining Liberal. Because people might not be too attracted to the idea. As a matter of fact, a recent scientific study, this is not a joke, a recent scientific total study found out that whining is the single most irritating sound known to humankind. Gotta go. Oh, it's you. I'm sorry. I'm not taking you for granted. I just wanted you all to practice your whining. Your whining. And why does Perry Logan think on June 23rd, 2011, that everyone should practice their whining skills? Well, simply because, all kidding aside, simply because whining has served the political right so well. Lesson 2 of the show. Whining has served the political right quite well. Tell me you haven't noticed. No. Anything you say to me here on this show must be whining. Don't you see what I'm getting at? The right wing in the USA has gotten where they are today largely through whining. We're a skeptical audience. Okay, now listen. If you live in the USA on this date, June 23rd, 2011, during which time the ship of state is slowly sinking, and everyone knows it, and the polls show it, as America gets used to the idea that come hell and high water, no matter what happens, we're going to have a rotten president in 2012.
Lesson 3 of the show, come hell or high water, we're gonna have a rotten president in 2012.
I'm sorry to remind you of such a terrible thing. We are poised at, well, we're not really poised at a crossroads. We are just sinking, okay? So, why not whine a little? I thought maybe whining might make us feel better. It does seem to make our brothers and sisters on the political right happy. Well, as close as happy as they can get, but don't you notice, haven't you noticed that everybody on the right wing in the U.S. does nothing but whine? Right-wingers do nothing but whine. To be an American, to be an American on June 23rd, 2011, is to hear the right whining 24/7 on all channels, cable, radio, TV, newspapers. They write books in which they whine about liberals. They do radio shows everywhere. It seems there is no unstable white guy in the universe who doesn't have his own radio show. And what do these many right-wing, unstable guys, mostly white guys, what do they do on their radio shows? That's right, they... What do they do on their TV shows? You said it. You got it. You are getting it. They whine about liberals. They whine about illegal immigrants. They whine about taxes. They whine about taxes till the cows come home. I can't talk anymore. You, take it. He just freaked out. Harry just freaked out there. All right. There is a solid observation, I think. Look, I listen to progressives. Progressives are not necessarily the easiest people to listen to. On the contrary. Okay, but it's usually because they're very measured and dull. Some progs, you know. It's because they're so much smarter than right-wingers. Could you get a tattoo that says, lefties are so much smarter than right-wingers, and then go around town like this? Go around town with this tattoo that says lefties are smarter than right-wingers. People need to understand this. And you get a tattoo and go around going like this. Hey, lefties are smarter than right-wingers, goddammit, any fool can see that. That's why they're hard to listen to. Okay. Nevertheless, for certain reasons, Americans are inundated with right-wing whiny talk, with right-wing whiny dana fana dana plana dana right-wing fana dana la 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 la. Right-wingers whine a lot, don't they? Come on. What does Rush Limbaugh do between his sexy hoochie coos? Check it out! This is Rush Limbaugh. I like to whine. I like to take Viagra. And I like to dance on sexy hoochie coo. And I like to dance on, 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 and I like to dance on. That seems sexy to you. I think I like Rush better when he whines. Hey, Glenn Beck, he whine. Michelle Bachmann, whom I love, she whine. You get the picture? The right whine. Whine. To give it the full diphthong, okay? The right whine. They whine on their radio shows. They whine on their bloody TV shows. They whine in print. They whine on the internet. They send me emails in which, you know what they do? They, hey, let's all have a good whine. Now, and I don't think liberals whine. I think liberals rarely whine. And we're human. We do what everybody does. But don't you see the right whine all the time? They have somehow gotten their little whiny butts on the airwaves everywhere, right? Everywhere. Right-wing stuff everywhere. Ah! And have you noticed how supernally, quintessentially, ineluctably Whining it all is, oh my God! Oh my God, we are sinking into the swamp of wine. 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 Haven't you noticed that the right wing in America do nothing but whine? They whine about liberals, they whine about illegal immigrants, they whine about pregnant women, they whine about taxes, God knows. They whine and they whine about taxes. Hell, right-wingers write whole operas whining about taxes. It's pretty much all they do. They whine about their fellow Americans. They whine about Democrats, they whine about the citizens, they whine about unions, they whine, and that is why the faces of right-wingers are melting off. This is Perry Logan on the streets of Austin. A beautiful Austin, Texas, where we are investigating the sudden rash of face meltings by Republicans, possibly induced by an excess of whining. Because if you haven't noticed, all the right wing in America ever do is whine. They whine about their fellow Americans, whine about everything. And liberals don't. And recent scientific studies have shown that whining, right-wing whining, especially whining is, all kidding aside, the most irritating sound in the universe. Wouldn't you know? Well, this explains why right-wingers are so damned irritating. Lesson 4 of the show, their incessant whining is what makes right-wingers so damn irritating. That and their bad dancing.
Hello friends, you're listening to the groovalicious sounds of Radio WHINE. All right-wing whining all the time. And on today's show, as on every other show, we're gonna whine about the government. We're gonna whine about taxes. We're gonna whine about immigrants. We're gonna whine about foreigners. God knows we're gonna whine about Obama. We're gonna whine about Obama's birth certificate. We're gonna whine about death panels. We're gonna whine about every damn thing we pulled out of our butt when we were whining about liberals. Hey, we all know when you whine about liberals, it helps to make things up. We're gonna whine about the deficit, at least until we get into the White House. We're gonna whine about Sharia law.
Sharia law. Sharia
We're gonna
law.
whine till the sun don't shine. You see, we the right, we whine. Repeat after me. We the right, we whine.
We the what? We whine. We the white. We the white. We whine. Ha. This is Perry Logan pointing out what is probably obvious is that the nation has been laid low by right-wing policies over the last 30 years, and now they are whining about it. They are kind of, without knowing it, whining about the failure of their own policies. Hey, don't let the sound of your own whining drive you crazy, right-wingers. Well, but they have, haven't they? They whine so much about government, is what happened. The right wing whined so much about government being evil that they kind of fatally wounded the government. They weakened the government. And guess what happened? The multinationals took over our country. All right, over the last 30 years, pretty much, the multinationals took over our country, and that's why we're kind of living in an extremely grim situation. I don't want to whine. Hey, most people today have every reason to whine, but they're not whining. The only ones who are the trickle-down folks. Hey, excuse me? Could you just like not trickle down on us? The people who like to, how shall I say, trickle down on their fellow Americans. They're whining like hell. Is that weird? They're whining like crazy. CEOs of companies who get, what, 40 bajillion times what the people who do all the work get, are whining. They're whining about unions, they're whining about profits, they're whining about taxes, they're whining about uncertainty, they're whining about Obama, they're whining and whining and whining. They're right, they whine, don't you get it?
And now, Pastor Perry Logan on the healing power of whining. The healing power of whining.
My friends, this is Pastor Perry Logan of the First Church of Winery, First Church of Right-Wing Winery. And I'm wearing, as you should be wearing, your wine-proof headphones, your right-wing wine-proof headphones. Because, as we all know, the right wine, the right, they whine. Ronald Reagan, he whined. They all whine. Who are these people? Michelle Bachman, she whined. Sarah Palin, she whined. She whined real good. She whined real good. The right wine. The right wine. They have somehow contrived to fill the airwaves, the internet, the printed media, the whole world, and most of Washington, D.C. with their winery. It's funny and it's not funny. The people who have subjected us to 24/7 bad-mouthing of their fellow Americans, after all, they whine. They are whining. The people through that big party over the last 30 years, the big party, they got all the money now, and guess what? They whine. They are whining still. Okay, well, this is the Whining Liberal. Yay! And it's kind of making, among other things, an observation on the psychology of the right, U.S. style. It just seems amazing to me that no matter how much they get, they keep whining. This is true across the spectrum of the loony right. The lunar right, the muscly white male degenerates. Degenerates. Okay. Hey, just wanted to remind you, degenerates hate liberals. Stalin hated liberals. Hitler hated liberals. Rush Limbaugh hates liberals. Therefore, degenerates hate liberals. There you go, there you go. right-wing whining everywhere on all channels. I am whining about the whining. Yeah. Is this not an innovation, America? I maintain, with a certain degree of seriousness underneath it all, I maintain that the right wing in America has gotten where it is today, partly, let's say, partly through its superior whining skills, its ability to whine. Haven't you noticed that right-wingers whine all the time? Right-wingers, they whine all the time. The U.S. ones do. Goes back to the Reagan Revolution. Might I mention the Reagan Revolution? What was the Reagan Revolution? Well, that was where Ronald Reagan started whining about the government. Don't you remember? Well, the Republican Revolution was where the Repubs kind of found their voice, with Ronald Reagan helping them. They started whining. They took steps to make sure that their little whines were heard everywhere. Their little mewling, puling, self-pitying, right-wing whines. Whines. Oh, like a fine wine. Look at. And so that's what a Republican a political campaign is, you know. That's where they just start whining. And right now that's what's going on. They're whining about Obama. They whined about his birth certificates. They whined. They thought he was like, oh, I don't know, did they say he was French? The right always whine, and they always say the Democratic president or candidate for president is a foreigner. That is just about as bloody, pulingly, mewlingly, irritatingly, vexingly, aggravatingly whiny as one could ask. Whine, whine.